The story of Sai started when I had this problem of getting fractured.
And these would just happen randomly.
Random.
Tell us a little about you and the entire family moved to Andhra Pradesh.
That was altogether a different chapter because new place, new food, new language, new people. Only with the hope कि कुछ अच्छा होगा.
Mental health issues of somebody who's already specially abled. Do you think artificial intelligence at this point of time can help them?
When people get depression, why? Because they have no control over their mind. AI is a very easy way to talk with you anonymously to know your mind.
There is diversity, equity, and inclusion. How much of it is actually real and how much of it is just a social media PR campaign?
I feel like corporates are trying their best, but inclusion is not an afterthought.
Do you have any one or two favorite songs?
जो मेरे मंजिलों को जाते हैं तेरे नाम के कोई सड़क है ना.
Sai, a very good morning. I just want to tell you that we here at AIM as well, me in my career as well, I've shot so many podcasts, but this was one that I was really looking forward to.
Thank you.
So, a very warm welcome to AIM Media House. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely awesome. Yeah, I'm so happy and so excited about it.
That's lovely to hear. Sai, there's loads that I want to talk to you about, that I want to ask you about. But we'll start off with taking a little bit of a trip down memory lane.
Yes.
So tell us a little about how your childhood was like.
The childhood was different for sure. I was born all okay, but the story of Sai started when I had this problem of getting fractured. That was time when I was 3.5 months old.
3.5 months?
Huh. Yeah, you can imagine how cute I was.
Yes, totally.
Huh. I don't know if I'm cute now still, but...
You're very cute, Sai.
So, my mother felt I have a fracture in my right hand. So, then they took me to doctor. I'm talking about the time when I was in Siliguri. I'm born and brought up there. So, doctors also felt little amazed how that baby can have a fracture. Anyway.
Because there was no fall, no injury, nothing.
No. Just my mom was taking me after my bath and she given me to my grandmother. And then after that, I started crying. So when it happened, she was clueless. But it happened. And I was crying and then they took me to doctor. Doctor said, okay, let's do the plaster because I have a small hand. They did whatever they had to do. And then they said, okay, it might be a mishap. It can happen. But it continued. Within 1 year, I had 3 more fractures. So that's the starting of the childhood in a different mood. It's all together. My parents were feeling like something is wrong. Why he's having more fracture? They took me to Kolkata, the nearest metro city of Siliguri. Because I'm talking about 1991, that time in Siliguri, nobody was mature enough, that doctor, why this kind of frequent fracture is happening. So I was been to a orthopedic surgeon in in Kolkata. There are a lot of doctors, like a panel. They saw me, they read some books and all. They saw my symptom and all. They wrote in prescription that I have the rare brittle bone disease. So officially it called Y, Osteogenesis Imperfecta. They never bother about doing any test of my bone. They went inside, they had some panel, then they came out and wrote it. They wrote my destiny actually, okay. And there is a good interesting fact, I'll come in later for that. So from that time, all the doctors been diagnosing me same way. I have the disease just because the symptoms were matching. And there are multiple fractures and doctors told my parents कि इसको handle करो थोड़ा care करके. Because when you get a box of glass, you said handle with care. So I need to handle with care. कभी भी कहाँ पर भी फ्रैक्चर हो सकते, यू कैनॉट प्रेडिक्ट इट, एंड दैट्स हाउ साइज लाइफ, दैट्स हाउ माई चाइल्डहुड ऑल टुगेदर, लॉट ऑफ सफरिंग, लॉट ऑफ पेन, but I was striving for something, कि something will I'll do in life.
What was that something that you were striving for, Sai?
Something like, for every child, they need a tool to express the happiness. First tool I got in my childhood was dancing. I was a dancer.
Wow.
So I was very fond of dancing. Whenever there was a TV channel videos, I can see the reality shows of dancing. I used to follow the same steps. Then my parents felt कि इनको तो डांस करना अच्छा लग रहा है, so they made me to go to in a Kathak training. I was up to 5.5 years. I did that Kathak. I did stage performances also. I was so fond of, like I felt while dance, I find myself in a peak of happiness. So 5.5 years तक सब अच्छा था, but by the time I was having a lot of fractures also, anytime, anywhere, all the body parts.
And these would just happen randomly.
Randomly,
Like it does.
just by getting in, move, push little bit, or I got something from the back, or I just randomly fall down because I was child only. So anytime that fracture used to happen, and then doctor suggested ki this is not his cup of tea.
Dancing, you mean?
Yes, tell him to do something else which make him go little secure zone, because he is not mature enough to know his problem. He would like to do so many things, but his boundary need to be there. Some limit need to be there. So then my parents also came one day कि साई चलो और कुछ करते हैं. I know you love dance, but there are a lot of other things you can also pursue. So that is the first time I felt like why they are saying no. That means I'm not like my other colleagues in the dance class. कुछ तो है, अलग है. So अलग समझते समझते I was thinking like now what next? And I was also good in study, but I was then again looking for that empty space. No, one dancing hobby went off. Then I was lucky enough, I got my next hobby in my home only,
Which was?
music.
Wow.
Because my mom was a classically Hindustani singer. She is trained from Allahabad Gharana, and she had own setup in home. तो बच्चे लोग आते थे, they used to have the classes and all. So one day I sat and I was trying to sing something which she was teaching somebody, that another student. She was not picking up, I sang that. So then my mom felt अरे ये तो म्यूजिक का सॉफ्टवेयर लेके बॉर्न हुआ है.
Wow.
So then she told me, can you sing this? I said, yeah, I can. Then she told, okay, now I think your time now to shift to the music. Then she is my first guru. Then after that, I felt so happy when I sing, and I could connect with myself, and I could express my emotion through the music and all. And then I found, okay, this is a good way. I can sit in one place, and I can sing also, less fractures.
Sai, this is completely off script, but I'm going to put across a request here. Do you have any one or two favorite songs?
I have a lot of favorites. I'm a big fan of Shreya Ghoshal.
Will you, if you don't mind, sing one line for us?
So I'll sing one of my favorite song which Shreya ji has sung. And the beautiful thing is that I did a cover of it, and she shared in a Twitter with lot of
Amazing.
love and all. It got viral. So it was from the movie called Dharak, the title song, and it goes like that. कोई बांधनी जोड़ा और के बाबुल के गले आऊं छोड़ के तेरे ही लिए लाऊंगी पिया 16 साल के सावन जोड़ के प्यार से थामना डोर बारीक है 7 जन्मों की ये पहली तारीख है डोर का मैं एक सिरा और तेरा है दूसरा जुड़ सके बीच में कई तरफ है ना जो मेरी मंजिलों को जाते हैं, तेरे नाम के कोई सड़क है ना जो मेरे दिल को दिल बनाते हैं, तेरे नाम के कोई धड़क है ना. Thank you.
Oh boy, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's not prepared, but with your request, I sang.
That was insane. I'm a little bit of an emotional man. I don't know why you were singing. I got a little teary eyed. That
It
was.
happens. Not only you, I do not know the magic.
Huh.
It happens to thousands of people. When I sing, somehow the magic happens. I do not know. Maybe I sing from my heart, or somewhere the people get connect with their emotion or something. That's
That was
magic of Sai singing.
So I want to ask you one question. You mentioned that when doctors told your parents, and then the parents came and told you that let's not dance anymore.
Yes.
It made you think that okay, there must be a little bit of some difference between the other kids that are dancing and me also, because I'm not being able to dance anymore. Was there a point of time in the childhood where you completely got to know about your physical condition?
Yeah, I think that is a time only because I used to see that fractures are happening, and every fracture, I do not know how many viewers can relate to me. Every fracture gives you a lot of pain. So it was so much painful to go through the journey, and no fractures, no suffering come into your doorstep and knock your door. It happens to you, and every time I was not prepared. And not only the students in that classroom of dance, even in my school also, teachers were very much cautious कि आप कैसे कहाँ पर बैठ रहे हो, you have to sit properly, because something will happen and make you again fracture. And I would like to narrate one thing, although I'm very much positive about my childhood because I got a lot of good things also. But this incident, as you asked, made me totally understand my situation. I was in class 4, and I became top. I was very good in study. And interesting fact, my mom used to be teacher in the same school.
Oh, wow.
To shake off looking after me, so that साई हाथ से बाहर ना जाए कि कुछ हो जाएगा. So she always used to take care. I changed my school, she also changed her career. So that time my mom was there in the classroom. I went to her and I said, आज dinner चलते हैं, we'll plan of something. Call dad, I'm the top in school. And I was so excited. And my mom said, she blessed me, and she also said, okay, plan करते हैं. And next moment I came back to my classroom. One of my colleague was so excited. Colleague, no, my classmate student. He came runningly and shook hand. Congratulations, Sai, you are top.
And
you can imagine the next moment.
And then what happened?
My hand got a fracture. So night plan of going to a restaurant shifted to a hospital. So this is one of the incident I'm telling. By the time I already understood कि I'm brittle, but I was thinking that I need to do something which made my fractures less. I need to take care of myself, but because I was so jolly and so, I used to love talking to people, going to the public functions and all. So I cannot stop my fractures. Every time, I go for a function, I fall down. That happened. So people also used to feel awkward कि अरे ये यहाँ पर फिर से scene create हो गया एक. So that was there in the society. I was feeling like I should go or not. But my parents were very much encouraging. You should be part of everything. At that time, I didn't know much about the disease or anything whatever there. But I knew कि if I get a push, if I get a, any from side, anything, I will get a fracture. So I need to avoid crowd.
Sai, you said that up until 5.5, you would still dance and all.
Yes.
So mobility was still there.
Yes, mobility was there till, yes.
At what point of time did that regular ability, mobility stop and you had to take support of the wheelchair full frontal?
Yes. In the year 2001, I fall down in washroom, and both of my leg below the knees got fractured together, and too much pain, you can imagine. And my father was not in the house. He came rushingly. I was taken to hospital because it was very major fracture. And by the time only I used to cry, by sound of cry only they used to understand ki ho gaya. They had that habit, no, ki, because it's frequent. So they took me to hospital, and in hospital something happened which was not expected. I was crying so much. I was in so much pain. Doctor came rushing. He had a little less time because he had to go to OT or something. I was sitting in a chair. He did the plaster in the same way. He told we have to do the plaster, and I was sitting in a chair. He did the plaster in that way only. Leg plaster always happen when by making your leg
Straight,
straight,
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so that at least after 2.5 months you can stand. But he did in the way you are sitting now, from my
No.
thigh to below the
With
knees.
the fold.
Yes, yes. And they did it, and then they said, okay, police को लेके जाओ and put some cushion to take a rest below the knees. It all happened very suddenly, and then after I was in home bed rest 3.5 months, they cut it, and I found my knees got joined like that only.
But during the time of 3.5 months bed rest,
Yes.
were you being able to sleep?
That same way, straight away, or little bit the help of cushion and all. Nobody told to do some, like physiotherapy or making the leg little straight. Nobody, no doctor advised me. And my parents were already little bit scared of doing extra thing. And what the result? After 3.5 months, I felt I cannot stand because my bones were fully tight the way I was sitting. So it got bent. I was not able to stand. That's the time I first took my wheelchair. It was a little horrible time because I used to feel like wheelchair is the support system when a man is dying. To go to a hospital or a ICU, a person needs a wheelchair. I never felt like I have to sit in wheelchair. Why?
What you were going through at that point of time, that wheelchair is equivalent to somebody going to the hospital. You relate that to something that a old person would need.
Yes, yes.
uh, but the habits, the personality you had up until then was such a jolly character, somebody who loves arts, loves talking to people. Did that face a dent? And if that did, like, what did you do something? Did you get support? How did that change? And you were able to get your original personality back?
I should not say the original person. People evolve. So age wise and all. By the time I already knew that I'm not going to lead a normal life, for sure. Because other my friends and all, they used to play cricket, football. I used to be in my balcony watching them because I know if football will hit me, I have to go to hospital. So I had my inside joyful indoor games and all. My world was already different, but that was not expected that I have to be in a wheelchair, and that also in such a young age. And my parents were there, and they are also coping up with the emotion. No parents can expect their child to be in wheelchair. They do not imagine that the life can be in that mood. But life goes on, and I was studying, and I had to take special permission because now I'm an accessible advocate. At that time, I did not know anything about accessibility. I did not know anything about making a place wheelchair friendly. So my college, my high school was not wheelchair friendly. But the good thing is that I was so thin because of the wrong treatment and all, which I'll tell in the after. I had a wrong treatment. So I was not having any calories, protein, vitamin in my body. I was so thin. So that was a good thing that because I was thin, my father could put me easily in a lap.
Uh,
So wheelchair का यूज कम ही होता था. Whenever I used to go out, I will go, but from there to upstairs in my exam time and all, he used to carry me in lab. And then inside home, I used to sit in one place. Yeah, as you said, the life changed for sure because all the things which I used to do independently, everything gone. I used to go independently, going into the nearby parks and all, and enjoy with my grandma. But that all stopped. My grandma used to come inside the room to meet me. But I did not do nothing. With the time only, I started adopting the wheelchair. Especially, when going out in the vacation time in the station, it was very horrible. Like my father has no habit of, pushing his son in a wheelchair, and I was saying, "Hatto, hatto, hatto," all the coolies and all. That is time I felt like why the ability is very important because I cannot do anything. I just am saying कि सामने से हटो. So I felt like railways, everything is not good for people in wheelchair. It is very tough.
We got to know about you up until 12. This is. Can you tell us a little about like what happened after that? Was it the same school? Was school helpful with your condition? And then how did the career kickstart? Because I've heard a lot of stories like these because it bogs down people. But when I talk to you now, and when I see all the achievements that you have achieved and are still on the process of achieving, you didn't get bogged down. That didn't happen.
Yes, yes.
So tell us, how did the career and all the work that you did take off? Tell us a little about how did that happen through your teenage years and then getting to 18 and 19.
Teenage years were good because by the time I was teen, I came to Andhra Pradesh. I studied in Siliguri up to 7th standard. And there, the education system, my teachers were already knew that I have this issue. They used to have a helpful, but I cannot say that they have a inclusive behavior. That's the time, 2001, 2, 3, I had to step back in home and do some. I only used to go for the exam time. I cannot go
Not for
regular
regular
classes.
classes.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so sorry to cut you, Sai. You said they didn't really have that inclusive a behavior.
No.
Was there something that they did, like even unknowingly, that made you feel like that?
They
And
did
what could they
because
have done better?
they could have done, I know, they see, they whatever they knew that Sai is the face of Siliguri. Because I was already a good singer and I already got a very big award by the time. I got Dishari Award for the best child singer of whole West Bengal. So it was a state award. And everywhere I used to call for singing. So that's the time actually I had a career plan of becoming a playback singer. And people used to be very much loving to me because I sing, not because I suffer. Okay, so that's a mechanical, the behavior people used to have towards me. That okay, Sai can sing. Not let's not talk about his disability. So that's a little sympathetic, but inside them, I do not know what inclusivity they could have done better. But they used to adjust with my situation. If my father has requested them to Sai can come one day in a class, they said okay. They never encouraged me to come regularly, we will make position for you. That never happened. But my parents actually never made me feel down that whenever they see some obstacle, they actually personally made it correct. So that's, I think, a little bit magic of being an angel like parents. Otherwise, I will be not sitting with Korak today.
There'll be times when I'll keep looking there because Sai's mother and father and his brother are sitting right there. So I'll keep looking at them because such a beautiful family as well. You mentioned also, but I'm still going to ask, how important was the parental support and the family support at that point of time?
It was very important. It was there with me till the time I was born, till the time I was diagnosed. They had a big support because they felt like if Sai is special, why not us? They need to upgrade themselves as special parents. But the beauty of the story is that they never made me feel like I'm handicapped or I'm disabled, I cannot do anything. They always used to say, Sai, if you are not doing this, do that. So that may be a trigger point for me to not limit myself because in a teenage time you miss your college, You miss all the environment. That's the time people start having crush with their girlfriend and all. I never had that because I used to not go and mix up with those people and all. But inside room only, they were so friendly that I never missed that. They made a position of me that I'm the king and they're always ready to do anything for me.
So they were your family also and your friends also.
Yeah, friends, some of the friends were there who were very close to me and some of my relatives. I used to see people see me in wheelchair, they look at me, they glance at me, and they feel something else ki yaar ye kya ho gaya isko bechara. And that is there. But I never had to face it because my parents were always putting some invisible boundary of love and care. Nowadays people call caregiving. It's a very hashtag caregiving is a trend now, but I do not think parents do caregiving thing. It's their default responsibility. How can a parents do a caregiving to their children? Because it comes selflessly. So I think the way they did to me, that redefines Sai's journey.
Did your parents ever, from a teacher or a principal, did they ever get this suggestion that you can admit Sai to a special school?
No, no.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, no, because the fact is that they never knew that there is a special school
Acha.
exist. They never knew because that time in Siliguri, nobody had this kind of symptom. Nobody has seen any fractures or they used to call Y, the brittle bone, and there was no patient.
So basically, awareness about specially abled people and the help that they can get or they might need was very less back then.
Yes, very less. No awareness, yeah.
Tell us a little about you and the entire family moved to Andhra Pradesh. Tell us a little about how life then was like and how did the career start? How did studies end and work start?
There was a big gap in study and work, okay. So the thing is that we came to South because you might have heard about in Andhra in Puttaparthi, there is a Sri Satya Sai special super specialty hospital. So by the time 96, we were in touch of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, who is my guru, and mysteriously we became his devotee. That can be in a separate podcast, the whole story. But because we were following him, we come to know about his super specialty hospital through one of his relative who visited Siliguri. So at a glance, he told me, why not you come to Puttaparthi? Because we have a specialty hospital and there are a lot of doctors are coming from abroad. So I can be cured. Huh. And that word cured hit at my parents because my parents from my childhood have not visited any orthopedic specialist in India, whatever possible. All the corners of India, Vellore and everywhere, they gone with me and with the hope of कि साई ठीक हो जाएगा.
But nobody had said this up until then, that he can be cured.
No, yes. So then they felt, okay, if Sai can be cured or something will happen to Sai, then let us go there. But he told that by the time you get tickets and come, because from Siliguri it takes three nights. It's a totally north to south. So why not you stay sometime there and that will be good for you so that doctors can, treat him. And that made my parents mad. People can talk mad because they left their job. They were in job. We sold out our house because that time we were not much financially stable. We had to sell our house. All the thing gone to the bank, and with that help of that, we shifted. And my brother was just born, very small. We all came to Puttaparthi with the hope, शायद ठीक हो जाएगा. But that was altogether a different chapter because new place, new food, new language, new people, only with the hope कि कुछ अच्छा होगा. And then my parents were searching for job and all. I went to the hospital. So it all happened for 5-6 months. And finally, 5-6 months, the time we got settled down, we loved the place because we already been following Satya Sai Baba. We loved the place a lot. 5-6 months, by the time I come to know that this is not curable. Because I do not have wife.
You don't have?
Osteogenesis Imperfecta.
Okay.
That was I wanted to tell in this podcast exclusively. I'm coming now in present and I'll go back. After coming to Bangalore, I was meeting with the Y community and all. And by meeting them repeatedly, I noticed a very different thing on them and me. Most of the Y patients are dwarf
Okay.
and they have several different symptoms altogether. So it got a question in my mind and my parents' mind, ki actually I have why or not? Why not we can do again one more test? Because the advanced technology and medicine and all. So I went to hospital and I wanted to do a genetic research on me. Because I remember from my parents said that time in 1991 they were clinically diagnosed me. They did not do any test. So I told my parents, chalo karte hai. So whole genetic research been done and they took the report to Mumbai, the head office, and it took 1 month to come the report. And the January 2025, I come to know I do not have Y.
You did not have Y at all.
Yes.
So what is the condition that you have?
Condition, the doctor said you had some issues in your bone. Maybe it can come from the earlier any of your ancestor
Forefathers.
forefather. Although my parent, my grand, they do not have anything,
yeah.
but it can also happen sometime the deficiency or bone, the medicine which needed that time when you were
Was not
my
given.
mother was conceiving, that was not there. Something could happen. They could not come to the conclusion that what actually you had, because after 2007 I do not have the major fractures.
I was just about to ask this, that when did the fracture stop?
2007.
2007 was the last fracture.
Yes, sir. Major fracture.
Major
After that,
fracture.
I had little bit issues because of the fractures and misdiagnosis and misdirection, all my joints got stuck together, and it got deteriorated because I was treated differently. Because they felt it's a calcium deficiency. They have given me a lot of calcium, and that made my bones some places it got a growth. So a deformation happened. My muscle also got jammed and all. But they clearly said in the report, I do not have Y. So there is no, possibility of fracture again. If I can take care of myself, and my bones are now strong enough. You can shake hand with me. Yes.
I'm
So,
gonna break.
thank you. So the thing is that lot of doctors told in the hospital, why not you shoe a case to those people?
I was thinking about this because
that-
two incorrect things happened. First, the incorrect plaster that was done
Yes,
while you were sitting,
correct.
and then the incorrect treatment as well.
Yes, the whole 34 years. Wow, not a small thing.
Yeah.
So I had to live these 34 years with the disease in my mind. And that changed my life, no? Because if I could know that I'm not having OI, my parents could have tried something else. Because if I do not have a rare disease, I'm curable then. There is a possibility to cure. So that's how I come to know, and I'm going back then. So the time I came to know in Puttaparthi, it was very devastating, for my parents also, because we sold out everything. We came with a hope, and now if it is not curable, or the doctor actually told me the same thing as you said. You are so happy, you are so joyful. Why you want to go in such long procedure of treating yourself? Because they felt like I have to get operated in each and every part of my body to make it all correct, and I may not survive after that because it's a pressure thing. So they said, you are happily using wheelchair. There are a lot of possibilities. You are very young now. Don't go into this. Live happily. That was a very big orthopedic surgeon from Malaysia prescribed me. And he said that do not allow your left hand to be operated because you are working. That time I was already working. I was working with left hand, one finger. So he told, no, people should touch your one finger and left hand because that is your raw material. That is the magic of my whole body. I can do everything with my left hand, one finger.
Tell us a little about how did the work start, because you are a designer as well.
Yes.
So how did that start? How did you upskill yourself And how did the professional career start?
Upskilling, good word. Yes, I always wanted to upskill myself, not from the career, but from my childhood. Like I stopped dancing, then I came to music. When I came into music, I started learning from different people like Manna De. All those people, I actually got opportunity to learn from them. Ajay Chakravarti ji and all the Pandit Ajay
Did you
Chakravarti.
meet Mannade sir?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
I sang before him and all the people. Late Rashid Khan Saab,
Lovely.
Anup Jalota ji, all these big
These
people,
are all legends.
legends.
I'm a little sad that the current Zen Alpha and Gen Z
Yeah.
don't know about the Mannades and the Anup Jalotas.
Yes, yes.
But if you ever get time, look them up. These are musical legends of
Yeah,
the
they are the
country.
stars of music industry, and I am
Absolutely.
so happy that because of my father was in press, I got to meet them. I got to learn from them. I had
Lovely.
workshops with them, and every music program I used to be the first opening song,
Lovely.
the singer. Anyway, so I always used to upskill myself because I felt it is your choice. If society and your people are saying you cannot do, it is very okay because saying no is a one word, but saying yes, you need to have gut. And I always wanted to do something new. And then we came to Puttaparthi. I was again studying in a different school altogether. Life was good. In 2009, one fine morning, my father felt he's not able to carry me because my bones were getting all together because of the long time it was not treated well. So each and every bones were getting jammed. My muscles were not working. So I had a setback. I could not sit in my normal wheelchair. I was in the bed, not one day, 2 day. I was there 6 years. Pre-COVID lockdown, you can say that. It's more horrible than the lockdown because I was preparing for my exam. I was preparing for my BA, Bachelor of Arts. I could not go for that exam because I could not sit in a wheelchair. Everything was little bit negative happening because my family or I was not prepared for that stage. My parents were trying different things because my mom is a acupressurist, she's a naturopathist. She's trying her own way ki kuch ho jaye. But I was not able. So wheelchair in balcony, I was in bed inside the room. Life started changing. I was feeling what to do. I cannot go out. I cannot. I was actually also learning Carnatic music that time. I cannot go for a class and I cannot go to Satya Sai Baba's ashram and all. I was feeling so bad. Then my parents felt it is a time. You will definitely feel okay. Let the time goes, but it did not happen anything. I started getting the so much popular word depression. I never felt like I also can have depression. How can I have depression? But I was thinking like how I can save myself because I cannot see any light after the tunnel. The tunnel is dark. I had fear of crossing the tunnel and I have fear of uh, seeing the future because I think that my parents were with me encouraging, but inside me another side was breaking down because I had to stop my passions, my education, my music, other things. So I was thinking, what should I do?
How old were you at this point of time?
I'm talking about in 2010, so 20 years.
20 years. You said you were getting into what felt like depression.
Yes.
How did you come out of that? How did you overcome this phase?
It took time. It took time because I never imagined the big picture or anybody's life can be confined. I was very much happy to go and connect with the people outside, talking to them. But that time people used to come to see me, but the regularity got less down. And my parents also were feeling, how can I complete education? What will be his career? Like everybody is feeling that scared that what is the future of Sai? Because they can see me deteriorating each and every day, and seeing me mentally upset and seeing me not doing my regular things, they also felt scared. But another good thing is that because I was little bit spiritual, I used to meditate. During the meditation, I used to cry and I used to compose music. I used to do a lot of things to come out of the depression. But one day, one of my friend came and told Sai, "What's up?" I said, "Nothing. All, yeah, as you see, I'm just sitting with a backrest. My mom will feed me, then I'll lie down and I'll sit. I lie down and I'll sit. That's a 365-degree routine." And even the Diwali came, Diwali, just outside the balcony, I can see the light, I can see the fireworks. I was so much like how I can go out and see, but I just cannot. And my parents are so happy that I want to see the Diwali. What they did the crackers inside my room.
Inside the room, crackers, like
Yes,
the small ones, you mean,
small
right?
ones, small
Phulzhadi and
ones.
all.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Because they wanted to see a smile on my
How
face.
sweet.
It was the time I met my friend, and he said, "Your one finger is still moving." I said, "Yeah, that's one finger is moving, but I'm not a Krishna to put the Govardhana. This is nothing to work." He said, "No, Sai, do one thing. Try holding a mouse and do some computer." I said, "How can I hold a mouse because my other fingers are not working, and that also with left hand. I do not have a laptop or PC anything." And so I felt it's not going to work. He said, "No, you can. I think something will happen because the way you are mentally getting drained, you need to do something. Otherwise, you cannot save yourself." And that's the time I felt like there are millions of disabled people outside who are living with the hope कि अच्छा दिन आएगा. And they might have known that Sai is doing good, and if they could come to know that Sai lost, then that message will go to the millions of people who are looking at Sai as an example. So I cannot lose myself, something I need to do. Then one of my friends get me a PC and I hold the mouse. First day it was so much painful. I was not able to move the cursor. It took 15 minutes to move the cursor because it was shivering. I do not have the body strength. You know, in a marathon, when you want to go out, you go back little and then you run. So that was my setback. I had to set back so that I can come out. And I felt I have to try. And 1 year I completed my diploma.
Wow.
So I started my basic and computer, and then I felt if my black and white life, which is not much having emotion, can be colorful, that's only designing can do.
Lovely.
And I'm a self-taught designer. Nobody taught me. Google is my master. 2012, I got first job.
Which was?
Media division like AIM, Media House of Satya Sai Baba. They loved one of my design. They told, "Why not you work with us?" That time they did not know whom they're talking. Okay, and that's a great story. They told, "Okay, you start working." After 1 week, they understood something. They came, all the team came, and they were totally कि how like a person in this position. That time I'm still confined, and they never believed कि how can a person with one finger doing professional design like that. So they all came and then they told, "You want to work with us permanently?" Then I worked with them around 9 years.
Wow.
But beside that, I started my freelancing and all, because that was a little bit kind of a voluntary work. They used to give me some honorarium, but I started getting work outside for my work, and that's a period my career the index goes up. I got self courage that I can.
I want to ask you this one question because this is something that a lot of companies and corporates talk about a lot, and especially during 1 month out of the
IDPWD.
12 months, yes, they start talking about it even more.
Yes.
That is inclusivity. There is diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, that so many of the companies and corporates talk about. This is a field where you have actively been working on for so many years. How much of it is actually real, and how much of it is just a checkbox, a social media PR campaign that you've seen?
That's a good question, Korak. Been working last 10 years into this field of DEI, being an inclusive champion myself. I'm also a Global Equality Award winner. So I feel like corporates are trying their best, but inclusion is not a afterthought. Disability inclusion is something people need to think now, not that after they acquire disability. So, inclusion, equity, diversity, these are the main pillars of your core values. So, if a corporate is thinking to be a truly human organization, working for their employees, the work life balance, making them more into core values champion, I think the priority that high time for them to make inclusion or DEI a practical landscape. It is not something to talk about, it is something to experience.
Something to actually do.
Do, yes, you have to come and work with the people like us. You can talk about it in the stage. 1,000 people will give you a standing ovation. That does not mean end of the day you are inclusive. You may go out and not getting a cab and just roughly you say something to a person for getting late. That not demonstrate your inclusive nature towards everyone, because inclusion starts from your home. It's a basic default software we all born with, including everyone, regardless to your gender, regardless to your background, your caste, creed, orientation, anything. That's called real inclusion. And it only starts when you practice on yourself. Not only talk, but practice it. So corporates are doing good job, but I think as a whole India, from the government side, from the corporate side, miles to go to make India inclusive. There are a lot of summit is happening, lot of leaders are putting their best to make India inclusive, diverse, but घर घर में काम करना है,
बिल्कुल.
because every house need an inclusive champion, because you may go out in the rural areas, there still people feel disability is a taboo.
Sai, you worked with government organizations, corporates,
Yes.
for the process and for the work of hiring people who are specially abled. But it's still a reality when we do the ground research, when we were coming across research that very few companies actively hire people who are specially abled. What is the reason? What is stopping them?
One thing is that the resume is declaring that the person is disabled. So people are fear about if I am hiring a person who cannot do something, how much productivity we can get in the organization through the person. That's one misconception people have. They become judgmental. And second thing, there are lot of people are actually not clear about working in corporates. Their family, their mindset is also not clear about that a corporate also can have one person with disability. So they do not apply. And less hiring is like they get a lot of opportunity to diverse hiring, but ultimately during the interview they see the person, and if they find something here and there, they may take, but retention is very often.
Less.
So I think that's a problem. Hiring is happening in many places, but they are not going to be permanent. After 1.5 months, during training only, they are feeling this person cannot be suitable.
I'll ask you from both perspectives. What can companies and firms and corporates do to be more inclusive when it comes to hiring, to hire specially abled people on the basis of their talent more? And what can people who are specially abled also do to train themselves better, prepare themselves better for an active life in a corporate work life for a long period of time?
Okay, I'm going to answer the second question first, because I am a person from that same community and I also am working in IT. So I think the first and foremost, they need to self-declare themselves. A lot of people are not declaring their disability. They're ashamed of talking about it. They feel if I talk about it, people may judge me, or people may feel that okay, I'm not capable enough to, be a good resource of a company. That's a biased thing they have in their mind. That should be first clear enough, because we are not being hired because we are in wheelchair. We are hired because we have the skill.
Exactly.
So skill upskilling and being a broad-minded that I am also capable enough to be part of a mainstream IT and corporate, and they can do many things. Make their resume more interactive, make their communication interpersonal skill more good enough, and absolutely their gesture, the attitude should be good. If you are sitting in a wheelchair, that's all perfect, but do dress up well, be professional, be your attitude, also speak what you can do. So these all things, like I think little grooming needed. Nobody actually groom, especially people, specially able people before interview. They have lot of things in their mind. They get nervous. They do not speak well in the interview. They got rejected. So I think there should be an organization who can groom the people like us before going into IT. And if I'm talking about the first question, government has their own policies. Corporate are doing a lot of ESR, CSR activities. They are doing hiring actively. They are not only disabled people, they are hiring from pride community. They are also trying to balance their equal index of gender, like women, men. But what sometimes they're lacking, that they do not have a healthy conversation with the opposite person. They have their own policy. They just try to put that policy to the person. These are our norms and in T&C, terms and condition. You need to make yourself fill in this thing. I think every individual like us need a categorized special, care. So I may need a table stand for my mouse. Somebody may need a high rising table so that she or he can stand and work. So I think the conversation and communication with the person, what is your requirement, how you want to make yourself comfortable in our company is very much needed. It is very lax. Everywhere skills are only getting assigned, like how much skills you are getting all your pre-approvals in interviewers are 100% or not. Nobody come to you and talk a healthy discussion like we are doing now, that what you need, how are you, and what all the things as an organization we can provide you to make your workplace diverse. Nobody asks. They have these norms and all, they have these wheelchair policies and all, they just let you to mold on that. That's why make many people leave the job because they do not get what they need.
I want to ask you one question, and both in terms of what individuals do sometimes and what corporates do sometimes as well. What are some of the things that people and firms get wrong while trying to show empathy towards those who are specially abled? And how can they actually help without making it seem in your face?
Wrong, I think, as I said, disability or DEI is not something to talk about. And it is a wrong or misconception of people that if I am hiring a person from this community, there will be some less. I think this is the opposite. We are more able. If you get an organization where the CEO is disabled or all the employees are differently able, kind of like Mitti Cafe, all the persons are differently able, they are into this policy to hire only people with disability. And it is growing and going every corner of the India. So I think that's the way people think that we are not less, we are more. And when you see something as in that perspective, that how much a person can put in the table when he or she is having that much capability with the disability, then a corporate can hire more. Because it's wrong to think or judge a person without knowing everything about that person. So you may know that, okay, I need a person in manager level to handle all the position. But it's not also right that you can tell the person, these are the things you need to do. Give them a space. Let that person come in the organization and create his own world and excel. So I think time and then misconception and then ability to rectify what is lack. Everyone, no one actually tell what is lack. Everyone is trying to hide that lack. But everywhere there is a lack, and if you find that lack, give a space and time to fill in the blanks.
You had said in one of your chats, and I'm going to quote, that equality is not enough, we need equity.
Yes.
that was a statement that really struck me. Can you break it down for us? And how can equity, what must a company do to ensure that equity is there in the workplace?
Ah, very beautiful question. See, equality is something you have for everyone. You have in your office black coffee without sugar. It is not something special. You have for everyone.
Yeah.
But if a person need black coffee with brown sugar, if you are giving that, that's equity.
That's a lovely
So
example.
equity is serving the person, scattering their need, what the person need, because individual to individual is different. Their needs are different. Their way of interaction, the way of putting their best self in the workplace is different. So I think that way equality and equity differs. Equality should be there to see everyone equally. I remember one incident when I got a chance to speak about inclusivity of India in United Nations. United Nation is a big, already a platform where people are following this very as a priority basis. So when I was talking about India, there was one question one person asked me that how you feel that you are doing a progress. I think that's the time I said from equal mind when people will start thinking with the equity terms of mind, then we are progressing. Because in today's world, everyone is trying to be best themselves. Only gap is that we are not getting a platform where our skills are being, accumulated on the basis of our capabilities. We should not be judged. Our voice should be heard equally, and we should get all the things what we need. Then only we can excel ourselves. So need a platform where people can be that person can be yourself. That's what I think equality and equity helps in the corporate.
You mentioned while you were growing up, your childhood years, where when you would take the trains, the
Yes.
platforms would not be
No.
wheelchair friendly at all, helpful for specially abled at all. Have you seen the infrastructure, say in stations and airports, change in the last few years?
Couple of, because couple of my friends are doing this campaign that they can make more number of platforms or railway station accessible, but only thing is that making the railway platform accessible will not work. How the person will come from the home to the railway station, does the communication support system is there? And after, okay, we have a ramp in the railway station, you can go inside the railway. But does the washroom is accessible? Does your
In the platform or in
in
the train, you
in
mean?
the train itself? You cannot go inside the washroom of railway with your wheelchair for sure. It's very small.
The door won't
Yes,
allow.
yes. And if you are in the wheelchair, you are blocking the passage in that main corridor also. So you need to go left or right, and there is no space. So the infrastructure of railways are not being built in the mind of disabled people, the way they can use it. They made it like a general. And now if we are changing it, we have to face a lot of things. So it is like that people are trying their best, but it's not a one-man thing. And it's not one angle. You need to build the infrastructure from the scratch to make it equal or future friendly.
2 or 3 podcasts before, we were talking to Saurabh Banerjee,
Okay.
who is the founder of United We Care, where they are providing mental health support to those who cannot afford 1500 rupees for 1 hour, 2000 rupees for 1 hour. They are providing mental health support through artificial intelligence with a budget of 100 rupees an hour, 150 rupees an hour. I want to ask you, because you yourself mentioned that when you were bedridden for 6 years, there was a time when you felt you're struggling with depression. It was a different era back then. Now it's a different era. Mental health is being talked about more.
Yes.
Very correctly, very deservingly should be talked about. Do you think, because when it comes to mental health in people, it's one thing. Mental health issues of somebody who's already specially abled.
It's
Do,
double.
exactly. You
Yes.
yourself said it's double.
Yes.
Do you think artificial intelligence at this point of time can help them?
Yes, some sort of definitely, because AI, one side is evolving every day, and it's been a boon for many people of our communities, including me. Another side, people are sometimes misusing. But if I'm talking about mental health, it's very important nowadays. It's a high time to talk about your mental well-being. Why? Because there is no gym for your mind. People are using, gym for physical health, getting good diet and all, but there is no gym where you can feel that your mind is getting the food or emotion is getting nurtured. So that's why mental well-being being trending this way, and AI is a very easy way to talk with you anonymously to know your mind. When people get depression, why? Because they have no control over their mind. They do not know where I'm directing or what is good or bad for me. And that's why mental health for the person is getting down, because no other external factors are coming to tell him or her that what is right and wrong. End of the day, how you are talking to AI is also matter.
You mentioned that you and a lot of other people that you know also who are specially abled are using AI for their day-to-day work.
Yes,
Can you tell me what are some of the tools that you use and for what kind of
I
work?
use all the command tool like ChatGPT and everything, whatever I can, because the lack of abilities we have, these are the tools are boon for us. Especially Google, Microsoft, and other big companies are making some of the tools which made our work less, because physically we are not fit to do much work in less time, which these AI tools are happening. Especially for a designer, Copilot and all are very much helpful to get some basic design ideas and all. After that, absolutely we have to put human touch.
Sai, you are an inspiration for millions out there, not just those who are differently abled, but even those who are no, on the opposite spectrum,
Yes.
who are not differently abled. If you had to give one advice to people who are suffering from something or the other, but they want to change their lives, they want to come out of that, make their lives better, do skill improvement, be able to work, be able to be considered in the same spectrum
Yes.
like everybody else, how do you think they can train themselves better, motivate themselves better, and what help do you think they can take from AI and technology to do this?
There are a couple of questions in your question. So, first of all, the most important message I wanted to give the people who are struggling from anything, self love is very important. Love yourself, self acceptance, and be positive. Because there is a lack of positivity in the world, that's why they are not looking for the possibilities. When you get some problem, a solution comes free with it. But the person is so much indulged in the problem, they overlook the solution. So if you are positive, you love yourself, you know what I am capable enough, and you know that what I can do for the society, for myself, for my family. Nobody can stop you to be a better person. And as you said, AI and technology is one-sided. It's not, the part of your regular life. It can be taken as a tool when you need. Like I always tell people, raise hand is it should be. You should raise a hand when you are in difficult situation, because if we are loving our disabilities, we should love our abilities also. Some people are scared about talking their disabilities. Some people feel that every IT spectrum or working as a normal person in IT is not possible because I have the lack. So if you have the disability, there are a lot of abilities are also in you. So train your abilities and make yourself a master of that, because everybody is good at something.
That's amazing to hear. Sai, what do you want your legacy to be? And what is next coming for Sai?
People call me Wheelchair Warrior of India. That's a title I got in 2016 after I got a national level competition. I went to Goa. Again, I'm talking about Goa in Valentine Day. So I went there with a motive that why Goa only to be for the couple who are able. Why not we can go and make ourselves nice with the love of our life, because love is beyond your disability or everything. Love is love, and that cannot make you stop expressing if you have a disability or even a wheelchair. I went to Goa to make wheelchair friendly for everybody. I met that time Anuradha Joshi ji, the disability commissioner. She told me wheelchair warrior, and that's the title Google took. If you ask to Google who is the wheelchair warrior of India, Google will answer. Sai Kaustuv Das Gupta. Yes, I'm not boasting about myself, but as you said, my legacy, I want to change that. My
You
legacy
want to
will
change
be,
that?
yes, my legacy will be not wheelchair warrior. It should be happiness warrior.
Wow.
Because Sai's story is not on the disability and wheelchair.
It's not just about the wheelchair.
Yes.
Amazing.
I am using this wheelchair because I want to go around. It's my vehicle, it's my tool, it's my lifeline, but it cannot define Sai. So I want to make more happiness warrior who are going to change the make the place better with inclusivity, accessibility, love, care, and every good things. Positivity, of course. So let more Sai come in the future with become a happiness warrior.
I can't let you go before playing a quick rapid fire with you.
Okay?
So I have some questions that I want to ask you, and
Sure.
we want the answers quick and rapid.
Rapid fire.
Okay. 3 words to describe your life.
Willpower, positivity, and my smile.
Wow. Love it. Love it. Willpower, positivity, and smile. The best piece of advice you ever received.
Never underestimate yourself, be your true self. From my mom, Dr. Sheila.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely. If your life was a book, what would the title be?
A lot of things are coming in my mind. First will be brittle but not broken.
Absolutely amazing. And even after all that you mentioned and all that you went through, you are one of the most positive and happy personalities that I have met and I have come across.
Thank you.
Radiate so much joy, you radiate so much positivity. Sai, it was just an absolute honor and a delight for me to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Korak. Your questions were so beautiful, and I hope the audience will get lot of takeaways. Their writing pad will be full writing notes and all, and share it with all the people. I should say share it because all the time when you share, you do not know in the corner of the world who need this listen this.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, AIM and Korak, for making me sit in this position and sharing that life of Sai.
Thank you so much, Sai. Oh my God, I'm deeply moved. I'm deeply touched. I am dead sure that you all are too. Tell us in the comments how was this podcast for you. As Sai said, share it with your friends, with your family members, and especially share it with somebody if you think they need help, they need support. There won't be a better 2-hour conversation than this. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Do tell us in the comments how this podcast was for you. And of course, do not forget to subscribe to the Hot Seat by AIM Media House for more content just like this. This is me and our dear friend Sai
Thank you.
signing off. See you in the next one.
Lots of love.